Welcome everyone to another episode of Alpha Byte. So this is where I go through interesting market news, airdrop opportunities, and different ways to trade to make money. So the first thing I wanted to talk about today is xBank Finance. So I mentioned xBank Finance in yesterday's video where I was talking about getting acquainted with zkSync error. Now I just wanted to talk about particularly airdrop potential that we have here with xBank. So if you didn't know, xBank is a money market. It's similar to Aave, Compound, Solend. If you're familiar with them, you should be familiar with xBank. So you can deposit assets into xBank and then borrow against them. But right now they've got a sort of airdrop campaign going on. So if you deposit into xBank, you can receive yield for doing so, but they're also giving away escrowed xBank tokens, which are ESXB. Now these tokens give you two utilities, which I'll get into right now. So xBank doesn't have a token right now, but they're planning to launch one in Q4 of 2023. So that's later this year. So as I said before, if you deposit or borrow from xBank Finance, you get the ESXB tokens, and those tokens can be converted into xBank's governance token in the future. So the ESXB token can be converted up to 2.5% of the governance total supply, and they're going to take a snapshot on the 30th of September 2023, and the governance token will be allocated on a pro rata basis based on the ESXB held by users. So the more that you use xBank, the more that you deposit, the more that you borrow, the more tokens that you're going to receive, which will eventually turn into real xBank governance tokens, which you can sell for real money. Additionally, this is a little bit cheeky from the xBank team. So they assume that because Arbitrum did their airdrop and gave their tokens to a bunch of different DeFi protocols that were live on Arbitrum, that Matter Labs is going to do something similar for the zkSync token. And so 40% of the airdrop that zkSync is going to give them will be allocated to ESXB token holders. So that's cool. So we have a couple things going here. You can farm the ESXB tokens for the eventual xBank governance token, which you can then sell for real money. And you're also farming it so you can get some of the airdrop from zkSync. Additionally, just by using xBank, you're putting yourself in a good position to receive a zkSync airdrop yourself. So there's three things going here where you could potentially make money. Now, the next thing I wanted to talk about is Satori Finance, again mentioned in my zkSync video yesterday. So this is a perpetual futures DEX that is looking to launch on all zkEVM, so Polygon, zkSync, and Scroll. And so when you want to go ahead and launch the app, there's a Polygon zkEVM version and the zkSync version. I think you should go ahead and try out this protocol. It's actually quite nice. I like the UI. Trading here is nice and smooth. It's a little bit more on the expensive side when you look at the fees compared to what you might see out there from like DYDX or Drift, but it's still a good DEX anyway. But again, it's one of these protocols that puts you in a good position to potentially get a zkSync airdrop, as well as a Polygon zkEVM airdrop in case they wanted to do that. And from my understanding, you should sign up to their wait list fairly soonish. I mean, you want to do this probably today if you're seeing this video, as well as start trading on Satori Finance, because I think the snapshot for Satori Finance is probably going to be taken soon. So I would take advantage of this. From my understanding, there's only about 1,300 people who have ever clicked on this website and started trading, so you could be one of the first, and that I think will be a benefit to you in the future. Now, the next thing I wanted to talk about is Ethereum Layer 2s, and again, this is related to airdrops. Just generally, you want to be aware of all of the Ethereum Layer 2s, which ones are up and coming, which ones don't have tokens but are live, which ones have testnets that you can take advantage of. So we've seen before, Sui, they've given out tokens to people who tried out their testnet, minted NFTs, so on and so forth. And I think that's probably going to be the same thing with a lot of these Ethereum Layer 2s. So I've collated a list here. A lot of these you're not going to have heard of before, like probably Mantle or Linear or Tyco. These are some of the less popular ones out there, but I've put them all in a list for you. This is most of the Ethereum Layer 2s that I think are going to be out there. This isn't a comprehensive list, but if you want to add any more, you can just DM me or just leave it in the comments down below and I'll take a look. But if you want to find this list, you can go to my Twitter account. So I'm just going to use someone else's Twitter account here for an example, but you'd want to go to mine, then you'd click on these three dots and then you go to view lists. And here it's going to say Ethereum Layer 2s. Like this would say Ethereum Layer 2s. You would want to click on that and that will show you the list. And that's how you can check that out. So I highly recommend you do that if you've got some spare time. Now, the last thing I wanted to talk about is stink bids. So I've made a short on my channel before, like talking about stink bids. Basically, they're limit orders that are so far below the current market price that they're very, very unlikely to ever be hit. But in case they are hit, you could make a lot of money very quickly. So what I'm showing on the screen right now is the Cardano USD price on Kraken. Now we can see here the 22nd of February 2021, price dipped down about 85%. Now this is not a normal market move. I mean, sometimes this can happen, but when this happens, it's not only going to happen on Kraken, it's going to happen on basically every other exchange out there as well. You know, sometimes crypto Armageddon happens. But in this particular case, from my understanding, some whale just liquidated their entire life savings on Kraken, but didn't, you know, sell in chunks. They just market sold everything they had. And that just caused a liquidation cascade as people started getting hit. And then just lots of selling happened. And then the price of Cardano went down 85%. But if you had a limit order sitting down here, let's just say you did it there and then it just popped back up, that's a 563% return you could have made in like minutes. So some people will have taken advantage of that. This is known by some of the more advanced traders out there. Some of the people who don't like YOLOing their money on like meme coins and stuff like that, you know, big professional traders, they will have systems set up that allow them to detect massive price discrepancies on different exchanges, and some of them will just have stink bids set up. So this is like a fairly low cost way of potentially making a lot of money. You know, if you have some spare capital. On some exchanges, they'll allow you to still put those limit orders in while still having a position open, but you've got to be careful and there are risks to this, and I will cover that in a later video. We'll take a look at Binance US. So a similar thing happened. We had liquidation cascade and you could have profited 650% if you were buying near the bottom. Now, one thing that I've heard a lot of confusion around is that people don't believe these wicks are real. They are. You wouldn't see these wicks if trading didn't happen at these levels. Just understand that, right? Here's another example. Polygon on DYDX. So this isn't a normal market move. You catch it at the bottom, you're up 1,000%. So you don't even need a lot of money to profit off of this, right? If you threw $100 in for a limit order like down here, that's 10 grand that you would have made from that trade. And I'll show one last example. So this is Cardano on Bitstamp. This isn't a regular wick. This didn't happen on any other exchange. So in terms of places that you want to go ahead and do this, Binance probably won't be the place to go, or like OKX or Huobi. You know, the big exchanges that have the most volume, Coinbase as well. Occasionally it will happen there on some of the smaller pairs. Generally, you just want to stick to places like Kraken, Bitstamp, DYDX is a good place for this as well. So that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you for watching and make sure to subscribe for more videos like this one.